Hello, and welcome to another episode of Draw All Monsters, where today I'll be showing you how to draw Netflix's newest rendition of the Guardian of the Universe himself, the friend of all children, Gamera.
So how to get started on drawing the Guardian of the Universe himself, Gamera, we're going to do a small circle. Doesn't have to be a perfect circle, just a circle. Small circle at the top here, like so. And that's going to be part of the basis for his head. Now, we're going to go ahead and make the crown of his head after you do your circle. It's going to be a line like so. It curves over the top of the circle like this. And then we're going to bring that line down towards the front into a point like so here. So you can see like that. It'll be like a little pointed nose piece. That's going to be the start of his top jaw. And then you're going to do a line that comes down. And we're going to pull that line you just made and bring it into the circle with another line. And it's going to go through part of the bottom of the circle like this. We're going to go ahead and bring it down like this. And this is going to be the start of his bottom jaw. And you're just going to kind of do this like chisel motion, like going in one direction like this. Now we're going to bring it up to right where the top jaw is about in length. And you're going to go ahead and make his part of his bottom jaw like this. And it's going to be a little line that comes out here. And he's going to have like a little chin point that comes out in this direction like this. This Gamera is a little chonky, like he's a little bit fat, so he's got very thick features on him, and his bottom jaw is one of the examples to it. It's a little larger than the previous Gameras, I think, in a way. So you're going to kind of leave it off like that for right now. At this part here, so you're gonna make sure this line sticks out like this, and you have like a little line going afterwards. This is gonna be the start of his neck, and then you're gonna bring this line over top of it. You're gonna bring it back into the back of his head, basically. So you're gonna start right here after you've made your line going out. You're going to bring this line going back upwards into the back of his head like that. That's supposed to be like where his jaw kind of hinges at, basically. And you're going to bring that and connect it into the line that you made already with his top jaw and the bottom jaw where they connect. And then you're going to go ahead and connect this back to the crown of his head that you already made and keep it like that. And now we're going to do the other part of his neck. That's going to be coming down from his head, like so. And now we can erase our circle that we made on the inside of the head. There we go. I recommend you having a pink eraser. They always help with this. Or a white eraser too, but just something in this kind of style works really well for something like this. So now that you have all this down, you're going to go ahead and continue making the neck a little bit thicker by adding another line going on top of it. So you'll see what I mean in a minute about like this Gamera having a super thick just body design. Like he's much wider, his neck is just a lot fatter. It's not as thin as the previous Gameras. So next step we add to our turtle friend is we are going to be doing his eyes. Now this Gamera's eyes are interesting because this version of Gamera is a animated version of him, so it's a little bit different than what we've seen with the costumes. So to do this Gamera's eyeballs, you're going to go do a line like this, going to curve it out, and make this line that connects to the top of his eye like that. and we're going to make his eye a little more simplified. So we're going to go and do a oval shape on the inside here, and we'll make this more detailed later on, but this is going to be his eyeball right here. And now after you have these two lines that you've done, both the top and the bottom, that connect to form the entire eye shape, you're going to need a little tail piece that comes outside both the right and left side. And we're going to take the left side line that you see right here, and we're going to bring this to the front of his nose right here. So this is going to come all the way over here, and it's going to go down like this. And this is going to be your guideline to where his nose will be at. So once you have this line done on his nose, you're going to do a little slash right below that, and that's where his nose is going to be at. Now, after you've completed this part, we're going to do his little wrinkles, part of his skull that kind of comes out of his face on this Gamera design. And that's going to start right here above the top jaw. It's going to be like a little curve like that. And then we're going to draw this back end of it into a line that also curves going up and around the eye, like so. And then you're going to have another line going right underneath the eyelid, like this. And it's going to come back up to the eye right here. And now that you have these details done, you're going to go ahead and take that little tail piece that was on the right side of the eyeball, and we're going to go ahead and turn that into his eyebrow kind of shape that's going along his skull. I want to say it's an eyebrow because that's what it looks like to me on the body. There we go. There's his little eyebrow done. And now we're going to do his little crown crest that goes along his skull. This Gamera has a bunch of spikes going down the part of his upper cranium of his head. So we're going to go and make a little slanted line like this to begin the crown. And then you're going to go ahead and make a straight line going up this way. Pull it back down. Another straight line going up. Pull it back down like that. So it's going to be kind of like making V shapes that are going to the right, like this. So just kind of follow my motions here. So make a line, bring it back down into a V shape, connect it back to the head, V shape again, connect it back to the head, and you're just going to keep going until you get to right here. And then you're going to add a double V, so you're not going to bring it all the way down just yet. You're going to make a double V shape like this, and then bring it into the skull like that. And that's going to be this Gamera's crest done. And then just to finish it off, add one more crest going in the opposite direction to the left side, like a V shape going to the left, and bring it back down. And then that's his crests right here. We'll be doing his neck crests in a minute. And then after you do these at the top, you're going to go ahead and bring a line going straight into the skull, but it's going to curve to the right more, so like this. And to make some more details on the nose, we're going to go ahead and take a line like this, and it's going to make kind of a triangle shape connecting back into the little crest on his head. I'm going to make another line again right here, and then just going to make a straight line connecting back into the nose like that. Whoops. Now that you have that, we're going to go ahead and fill in the eye using our pencil. Fill it in black and then leave a little bit of a white into the eye like this, because once again, if it doesn't have any white in its eyes, the character looks like it's dead. Having a reflection in the eyeball is what makes a character come to life more on the page. It's what makes it appear like it's living more. So now that you have his little white light source in his eyeball, you can have it over on the left or the right side. On my drawing, I'm having the white in his eye be on the right side, going against the way the curves go on his head. So all the curves are going to the right side, so I have his light in his eyeball going to the right side of his head. Now that you have that done, I'm going to go ahead and take our eraser and erase this extra line that we had from before, and erase this other line that was going on part of the top jaw and upper part of his face. Alright, so now that we have that, we're going to make his inner gum, or it's part of his lip, I believe, inside of his mouth like this by making a little curve and connecting it down. And then we're going to go ahead and do his teeth. Now, how do you do Gamera's teeth and famous tusk? Well, we're going to start with the top jaw. So to do the top jaw, we're going to erase his bottom. We're going to erase the bottoms of his top jaw, that little line that we made, and then we're going to go make upward, like N shapes, like this, so you can kind of see what's going on here. And you want to do these like moderately tiny, so kind of like that. And the reason why is we want to have enough room to do all of his teeth in his mouth. So we're going to go up, down, and we're going to have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we're just going to bring them all the way to where the gum is. So you should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You should have 10 on the side of his head like this. And we're going to do the same thing down the bottom, making 10 teeth holes. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and make his teeth, the shape of his teeth anyway. And these are going to be like straight lines that curve at, when they start to get longer, they curve out towards the right. And you're going to bring them back into a V shape again that goes into the teeth. So this will be kind of like what you did with the crest on top of his head, except for teeth this time. So you're just going to make them in this kind of shape that you see here. Keep going and try your best to make them like not too long. There we go. Now that we have that, we're going to go ahead and erase the part of the bottom jaw. And we're going to go ahead and go to the tip of the chin on the bottom jaw again, the top lip basically of the chin, and we're going to make it extend out with a round shape like that. And then we're going to go start doing his teeth. So again, making U shapes. This time, like instead of ends, we're going to make U shapes here for the bottom jaw like this, curve them in. And we're going to make 10 of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Like that. And we're just going to go 1, 2. Start making the teeth again the same way you did on the top. Just upside down. There you go. Need to fix up this little tooth here. Even the masters make mistakes. So let me fix this up. There we go. There you are. And now that you have this done, we're going to go ahead and erase the little U shape basically that we made for the gums and where the teeth are held on the bottom jaw, because he has like this lip kind of protecting his bottom jaw teeth. They don't show up as much as the ones on the top. And you're just going to go ahead and make a line that kind of goes through all of them like this. And now to do Gamera's famous tusks. Now, this was a little tricky at first, like figuring out like how these go, because these are a little different. They're actually a little bit smaller than the previous ones. So you're going to go ahead and make a round C shape like this. And these are going to be a point. Kind of going like that. So you see you'll make these like the same way you did your teeth, but you make it into a point that goes this way. And now we're going to go ahead and erase the teeth, at least this part of the teeth right here you're about to see. And the tusk is going to go ahead and cover part of this. So it's going to be in the same kind of direction, but we're going to bring the point up a little bit more to the left and bring it back down into a curve. Let me adjust this a little bit more. Bring this back down into a curve. And then cut it off like that. And that is your Gamera head halfway done. And now we need to go ahead and add Gamera's tongue. Again, this Gamera has a very fat tongue. So it's just going to be a little line going on top of the teeth, and it's going to come back into these top teeth on the top jaw and the bottom jaw. So this tongue will go into the bottom jaw's teeth like this. And then after you have that, let's go ahead and add some darker lines to the tusks to make them stand out a little bit more. And then we're going to go ahead and add Gamera's second tusk on the other side of his face, like this. And might want to put some more pressure on your pencil so that these stand out. Now that you have that done, we're going to go ahead and make a little shape that is part of the tusk that protrudes out of his face like this. And we're going to bring that back into the bottom jaw like this. And then we're going to erase this part here of the bottom jaw. And we're going to go make that into a sideways like fin shape like this. And bring it up like that. So a little squiggle line, then another squiggle line like this going up. Now, after you have all this together, we're going to go back up to his eye right here on this line here, and then we're going to go add some little bumps on the outside of the line like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Like that. It's going to have 8 of these. You're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Right below that, just like this. And we're going to add a couple more. 1, 2, 3, just to kind of end that out. And then you're going to do a couple lines underneath the eye that are going to be like little wrinkles. So just like some extra little small lines under there. And then to finish his eyeball off, we're going to go and make the outer part of the eye with a circle. And then I'm going to go, let me take my eraser here and erase this extra line coming off the pupil there. Okay. And now that we got that taken care of, we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of shading under here with your pencil, not too much. And there's Gamera's eyeball basically complete. And now we're going to go ahead and go back to this little eyebrow up at the top here, erase this line that was kind of separating it out. And now Gonna make just one little extra line. The idea is to make his eyebrow look like it's not all the way a full-on shape. Like part of it is still going into the base of his skull, because you know this Gamera, like, it looks like he has an eyebrow, but it's also like it's part of his skull too, so it's not really a full-on eyebrow shape, if that makes sense. So now that we have that, we're gonna go back to these little bumps right here and make a line going out towards the skull and towards the back of the head. Bring it up like that. And then we're gonna go back to the bottom jaw now. Gonna make a line going this way, down towards the bottom of it. And then we're gonna have a squiggle line going up like this. And now for the fun part, we're going to be doing Gamera's neck and all of its little crazy details on it. So we'll start with the simplest one first, which is doing the back of Gamera's neck. So erase this line here, and we're going to go ahead and bring a little line going down this way, then another line going down this way like so. And then you're just going to keep going. You want to have like part of your line you just erased here, so it's still visible. And then just bring another line down. And then we'll bring one more line down like that. And that's going to be the little crevices that come out of Gamera's neck. So we're going to go ahead and pull these, and he's going to go like the backward shape of the crest on his head. So 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. Now after you have that, we're going to go ahead and take these lines and make these little extra lines so they kind of form out as plates on the back of his head. And then we're going to take these lines here and just make a couple of them, like so. And we don't want to connect these lines to the ones we already made. After you do that, we're going to go curve the line down like this. This is going to be like the little armor plating on the side of his neck. Going to bring these lines downward after you make your little U shape in the middle there, and then we're going to bring these back into the back of the neck, but we're not going to fully connect them. They're just going to be halfway connected like that. And now we're going to do the crazy design that's going on the inner bottom of his neck on the front of his head. So how we do that is we're going to go ahead and take this line here that we did, bring it in, and then you're going to go and bring this into a curve like that, going up, bring it back out, bring it in again like that. There's the line coming out, another line going up, and these are going to be like little glow areas inside his head. Or, I mean, inside its neck, what am I saying? Inside the neck, he's going to have, like, little glow areas here. Although his eyeballs also do glow green. That's something else to consider. If you want to color this later, you can add some, like, glow-in-the-dark marker to his eyes. So he's going to have, like, 3 of these like this. And we're going to bring a little line down like that into the front of these markings here. And then we're going to go ahead and make 2 other extra, 3 lines actually, 3 lines like this, going back into the glowing areas of his neck like that. And then we're going to add just 1 more right here underneath the bottom jaw. It's going to go up here like this, curve in just like that line you made before, and there we go. And then we're going to add some simple shading by just, you know, shading it in right here. Don't shade in these lines you made because they're supposed to be glowing, and this is going to be the shadow of his face, basically over top of his neck. And now that we have that done, we're going to do Gamera's body next. But before we do that, we're going to go ahead and seal this part of his head off like this. And now to do Gamera's body, we're going to go ahead and make a larger circle. I'm going to try and eyeball this real quick. So we're just going to make it around, I want to say like this. This is going to be his upper chest area. Then we're going to make another circle. It's going to be his bottom chest area down here. Alright. And now that you have like these two circular kind of oval shapes going on, you're going to go ahead and make Gamera's arms by making another circle over here, or like an oval shape that connects and goes into the body. And then another one on this side here like this, that also turns into an oval and connects over on this side of the body like that. There we go. And then we're also going to do the start of Gamera's thighs, which are going to be little oval shapes like this. And then we're going to do it over on the side too as well. Going to make these a little bigger than the arm circles. Now we have that, we're going to go ahead and make the elbow of Gamera's arms. That's going to be another circle like this, another circle like that, and then we're going to make like a kind of an odd shape for his hands, as you'll see here in a minute. So it's going to like kind of look like a cylinder at first, and then you're going to flatten it off like this. This Gamera has very large hands, so we want to make all of his hands look in this strange shape that they have. So again, do the same thing on this side. We're going to cover part of his upper knee with this claw here, or I mean this hand and his claws coming out. And then we're going to go ahead and make this circle and this circle here slightly wider by bringing these back up into the body. Again, these sketch lines will be a little rough, but we'll clean them up here in a minute. And now after you do that, you're going to go ahead and make his feet next. So we're going to make the bottom part of his legs. They're going to come down like this. And then we're going to go ahead and flatten these out at the bottom. So it'll be kind of like a square shape. And now we're going to go ahead and erase and clean up these lines. So we'll erase the lines going through the arm. We'll erase what makes all the shapes like separate, like in the arms up here. And we'll do the same thing with the legs as well. So you have something kind of like this. And then we're going to go ahead and erase these two circles and make them separate. Now, let's go get started on the left claw. And how we're going to do that is we're going to go ahead and make an oval shape like this. This is going to be his thumb. And the same way you did your teeth, you're going to do his claws. You're just going to bring them back in like this. Same thing, we're going to make a couple oval shapes. They're going to be his fingers. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4, because Gamera has 5 digits. And we're going to make this claw curl inwards like this. How you're going to do that is just by doing the same thing with the teeth, but you're going to bring it forwards towards you by just making a point and then rounding out the back of it. So do that same thing again. That's 3. Now we're going to do number 4 here. So it's going to be kind of like he's waving in a way. And then we're going to bring all these fingers back into the hand, like so. And then bring the oval shapes back into the hand shape. And then we're going to do an extra line here to make the thumb stand out more on the palm of his hand. And then we'll take our eraser and clean up all these lines, like these extra, oval shapes that you had that made the fingers up. And we're just going to bring them back into the hand again, like this. And make a couple little slant lines. Those will be like the bend in your fingers, like right here, like these little lines in your fingers here. They'll be the bend in his fingers right there. And we're going to have a little slanted line like this. That's going to be the top of his palm, basically. And we're going to erase these extra lines down here and the circle shape. And we're going to adjust this a little more. So we bring this in towards the elbow of his arm. Bring it in. Then we're going to make this part of his shoulder or his arm a little fatter. There we go. And now that we have that done, I'm going to go ahead and make sure I get these other lines cleaned up. Go back over the claws one more time to make them just a little darker like the tusks. There we go. Because you want them to have a little bit of a different shade on some of the lines, just so they stand out a little more. So you want to add more pressure to your pencil a little bit. Like so. There we are. Alright. And now that you have that done, we're going to go ahead and do his other hand right here. So we're going to go make the little oval shape that comes out once again. We'll make his thumb that curls in like this. And then we'll make the tips again, just like before. Instead of making like the same kind of oval shape, you're going to make these a little wider. So just like slightly wider than before. And there we go. Got 1, 2, 3, and 4. His pinky finger's a little bigger. So I need to go and make that shrunk a little bit, because I drew his pinky a little too big. And then we're going to erase our oval shapes again. And we're going to go ahead and take this claw, take this arm, bring this up. This will be his elbow. Get rid of that circle that you made there. Then we're going to do the same thing over here, making this arm a little wider. And we're going to bring it and connect it back down into the elbow like this. Now, after you have all that completed, next thing we're going to be doing is making his little claws again on this hand. So we're going to go ahead and make a little curl like this, like a C shape. Do it again on this hand, then on this hand again, this hand, and then do it again on this hand like this. And now that you have that taken care of, we're going to go ahead and go back to this arm again, connect it, and then we're going to go and add little scales on his fingers. So how we do that is, let's make sure we got this nice and clean. And you're going to add an extra line to the top of the claws like this. So right where the claws start, the C shape, you're going to add another line like that. And then we're going to go ahead and make a little line like this. There's another line right here, another line here, another line here. And you're going to add 2 more lines on his fingers. 1, 2, 1, 2. And then you'll have like 3 for each finger, basically. Now that you have 3 for all the fingers, you're going to bring a little smooth shape and connect these lines by making a C shape at the bottom. So the C shape will be in between the fingers like this, and you're just going to keep connecting them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and there you go. There's his fingers. And now for the top of the knuckle, how you're going to do that is make a little shape like this that goes in between where the gaps of the fingers are. Then we're going to make a little spike comes out here. And now that shape that you made that goes over top of the gaps of the fingers, you're going to go and make a line that comes out this way, like this, another line that comes out this way, and another line that goes out that way. And then these little lines that you made before, you're just going to do that same thing again. And the space in between is going to get smaller and smaller as it goes up the arm. So this is like one of the harder parts of this design, I think, anyway. It's like making these smaller as they go up. Alright. So now that you have that, we're going to go ahead and take this area that you've made, and we're going to go ahead and make these disconnected from the thumb by making a round line that comes up here to kind of like separate, like this is his hand, this will like separate the thumb from this whole part of your hand basically, as well as his part of his hand. So it'll be just like a little, almost a curve coming up here separating everything. Then you're going to do a couple little spikes down here on the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here on the thumb. And now that you have that, we're going to go ahead and add little larger spikes going down part of his arm here. These will be like the teeth and claws. So then you'll have, he has about 4 of these. 1, 2, and then there's going to be a bigger one right behind his other one right there. So it'll look something kind of like that. And now that you have that completed, what we're going to do next is to help separate this again from the fingers a little bit more, we're going to add some shading to the inside of it like this. So this will be all in the gaps of the C shapes you made. Just like a couple quick little squiggle lines like this. And then for the fingers, we're going to do a couple cross-hatching lines like this. At the top of them like that. Like just around that area. And we'll make a couple shadow lines right here and around the bottom of the fingers to add more depth to them. Same thing we'll do with the claws. We'll just add some little squiggle lines down the bottom here to add some shadow to the claws. So since the light is coming to the right side, so we want to make it look like there's more depth going on here. I think that looks good. And now that you have this completed on his arm, we're going to go ahead and go to the upper part of the arm now. And right where the elbow kind of comes out, he's got 2 extra spikes, again, like this. And then we're going to have a couple wrinkles right here in the elbow of the arm. And then he's going to have this interesting design where it's a couple lines like this. So we're just going to do a couple lines going this way. And then we're going to start to turn these into like a arrow shape. Like almost like drawing sideways little houses. Like little houses you would draw in preschool, right? And now that you have that, we're going to form these into like a diamond shape, like this. Going to bring these out again, form them into another diamond shape, except slightly larger with a little bit of a gap in between. And then this part of the arm is going to have a line that comes down. And we're going to go ahead and bring it up. And we're going to curl it onto this part of the arm like this. So this would be like little serrated blades that kind of come out from his arm like that. Like the upper part of his arm. And we're going to do that same thing here at the top. And bring that in. And we'll just erase some of these lines to help clean it up a little bit. Alright, and now that you have that taken care of, we're going to do the same thing over on this part of the arm here. And we're just going to go make the serrated blades again on this part of the arm. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to make 5 of these. And I'm just going to kind of work backwards and bring this in here. These lines down into the body of the arm. And then we're going to go ahead and add the diamond shapes again. And how we're going to go ahead and do that is just do that same thing, make a couple lines going out from this direction. And then you're just going to go and make a point. Make a line going up. Looks like I missed one right here, so I'll make another one. There you go. Now that you have that, we're going to make another triangle shape again in between these gaps of the arm and form that into a full-on like diamond shape. Alright. And now that you have all that done, you're going to go to the top of the knuckle on this side. Just going to erase this line here so we can do this a little easier. So this would be like the back side of your thumb almost. And you're going to go add just a couple small spikes like this. They're be kind of like serrated blades, like that. And then you're going to redraw your line you just made. The idea is to show like the upper side of his knuckle and his arm with all the blades, because the underside of his hands don't have any scales or spikes on them. And we're going to do that same thing on this side here, but this one you don't have to erase the line for. So you just make a couple serrated blade shapes like this, and you're pretty much good. And then we'll go ahead and add a couple shadow lines in between the fingers right here, just to add some depth, just to finish this hand off. Do the same here, just add a little squiggle line. There we go. Add a little shadow like this down below. And now we're going to start on Gamera's chest, because we're almost done here. So to do that, we are going to make a line going this way. And we're going to make it into a U shape around the neck. Try not to erase the neck like I just did. Like that was a little mistake I made there. Oops. After you do your U shape that you make, you're going to make two lines that are going to go to the far left, right here of this arm. You're going to do another one that goes all the way connecting to this arm like that. And then we're going to do the little plate on his chest. That's a little more complicated than I thought it was, which is just going to be a straight line down, another U or N shape almost. Bring this into a spike on both sides, pull it up, bring it back out to the arm again. You're going to do that same thing on this one, right here. Pull it up, bring it back out to the arm. Bring it down. Do that same thing again. Bring these lines down. Bring it into a point, connecting it like this. And now after you've done these shapes, we're going to go ahead and make another line going down in between these two here. And it's going to go and make these separate. And then you're going to make a diamond shape that's fairly large, going all the way down from here. And then you're going to go ahead and make a line going this way and this way down here from the diamond. And then after that, we're going to go ahead and make a line that comes out from this side here. Curl it up. And then we're going to go make a line that goes this way. We're going to make that a little smaller on the inside like this. And then this line here is going to go and curl up like that. And I'm just going to adjust this line a little bit so it's got more of a curve coming up this way. And let's go ahead and adjust this line here so it loops back into these right like that. Then you're just going to make a straight, thick black line right here. It's going to separate and make a curve down from where this line is on both sides like that. And then we're going to loop it back into the gaps like this. Alright, now after you've done that, we're going to go ahead and make a couple little lines going this way. 3 lines in these gaps of the arms. And that's going to finish that part off there. We'll just adjust the neck a little bit, make a thicker line here. And now we're going to add some little details to the chest plates. So you're going to make some little soft squiggle lines, like one right here, it curves in. Another squiggle line, it curves in there. Then another one on this part of the chest plate here, form into a point, like making a triangle shape, like so. Gonna do the same thing on this little chest plate, just a straight line. It's kind of squiggly. Gonna do the same thing here and here. And clean up these lines right here real quick. Make a couple squiggle lines right here. Make another squiggle line there. One right here. And then you're going to make another one on the top of the plate of his chest right there. And then after you do that, you're going to go make a little shading line like this. 2, 3. And then we're going to do the same thing on the chest plates. Just make a couple shading lines like right here. And just kind of follow along with what I'm doing. We're going to add some shadow underneath the hand, like this. And right here. Alright, and that is Gamera's chest plate complete. Then we're going to go and finish up the legs and tail, and then we'll work on the shell, and you will be done with Gamera. So we're going to make a little line here that curves into the leg. That's going to be the start of his tail. And now we're going to go work on his upper thighs here. So we'll go ahead and start on this one that is covered by his right hand. I'm going to erase this a little bit. And you're going to go ahead and start by adding these little scale shapes that are like that, if you can see here. Gonna make a couple of these going down to the back of his leg here. So you're gonna stop right there. So you'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of them. And then we're gonna go make a rectangle kind of shape going out from them, like a line that comes out like this. And then And go ahead and make that little rectangle shape that kind of comes out. And then we're going to go make these into a diamond shape on the next part of it. It'll kind of look like this. And then we're going to make the front of his knees. So he's going to be a line that you'll draw from right here to here. And you're going to draw these little lines slanting out like this. There we go. They're going to make that diamond shape again on this part of the leg. Bring it in. And then for his bottom part of his legs that turn into his feet, we're going to go ahead and erase this line here. Going to adjust it a little more. Same with this one here. Let's go ahead and adjust it. Like that. And now after we have that done, we're going to go ahead and make his claws of his bottom, the claws of his bottom of his feet. So we're going to go and make these curves here, just the same way you did the claws. And these curves will come out from here towards the front of you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And we'll do this on the next foot too while we're at it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. And now we're going to bring these lines up here to make his toes. So two, 3, 4, 5. We're going to go ahead and erase this line here. Curve this line down. And we're going to make a couple spikes on this leg, like that. That's just going to be showing part of the back side of his leg. And we're going to erase these lines in between the claws, like this. And then to adjust these, we're going to make them into a V shape near the top. You're still going to keep the circular shape you already made. Do the same thing on this foot here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now after you do that, I'm going to go ahead and erase this part of the leg here, and right here. Going to make these lines, curve them in, bring up, curve in, bring up, curve in, bring up, curve in, bring up like an N shape. Do like that. Alright, and now we're going to go ahead and add the little scales that he has on his feet. And how we're going to do that now is by adding a little curve like this, going up. And then making a point on that curve that you made, like so. And then you're just going to curve that back into the toes. And then you're just going to go do it one more time by making another extra curve going up. And then you're going to do one more, one more, one more, one more. And then we're going to go ahead and like shade these in underneath this part. Yeah, just a little bit of shading in between the toes so that they're separate. And let me go ahead and erase these extra little lines I made here. Okay. Now that we have that done, we're going to go ahead and add a little bend right here. It's going to curl in like this. Maybe like a little point again. Maybe another point. Then you're going to add just another point like this, curl it up, go back in once more. And then you're going to add a little bit of shading right here, here, and here. And add some little shading on the toes too while we're at it. Okay. And now, after you have this foot done, we're going to go ahead and start on the next one. The next one's going to be a little bit different since you can see more of it. So we're going to go ahead and erase that curve, bring it in more to the body, and then we're going to go ahead and make a line going down, a couple serrated blade edges like this. Get rid of that extra line sticking out. Go. One more, two more, three. You're just going to keep going until you get right here and you're going to stop. Now after you do that, we're going to go ahead and make a point going down this way. So these lines are going to curve a little bit more. And then we're going to go bring this line up into a V shape. Bring it out just a little bit. Now after you do that, you're going to go ahead and move this over. And we're going to pull this up. And then we're going to go ahead and make our diamond shapes again. So these are going to be in between here. Be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I like my drawing has 6 of them here. So we're going to go 1, bring a line out, 2, as you can see, 3, bring them out again, then make these into a point. It looks a little rough like that. Do the same thing, bring these again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like that. There we go. Then we're going to add a couple shading right here. Then we're going to add just a little bit of shading over here too. And then we'll do our little squiggle lines again on this part of the leg, like how we did the shell. And then we're just going to do that same thing we did with this foot here. We're going to make a line going out, turn into a point, bring it back up, do one more, make a little curl, pull it all the way to the edge of the foot. Erase these extra lines that I have and kind of connect into each other. Okay. And now, after you do that, you're going to add a line going up through these gaps like that. And you'll add a couple shading lines to the bottom of the foot. And then we're going to go ahead and add the detail to the toes. So make a little curl. Make a straight line going up in between the toes. And then make your diamond point again. And then go ahead and make your curl once more on each toe. And there we go. And we'll just add just a little bit of shading here. And then we're just going to do a little bit of shading underneath this part of the tail by doing just a couple of lines that curl in like this. There we go, like that. And add just a couple squiggle lines back to your hand that you had, like kind of little scar marks. And now we're going to do the last two pieces of Gamera by doing his tail and his shell. So we'll do his tail first. We're just going to curl this out in this direction, and we want to make the tail look like it's coming off in the distance. So we're going to go and make the tip like really small, and it's going to get bigger as it comes into the body, like that. Then we're going to add all the little spikes that come along it, like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and just make these smaller as it goes towards the end of the tail. And then make a little N shape go around the base of the tail, like this. Then make another N shape going on the base of it, like that. Add a couple shading lines below the tail, like that. Alright. And there we are. Gamera's tail is done. Now all that's left is Gamera's most famous trademark, his shell. It's what makes him a turtle. So we're going to go ahead here and add one big shell spike coming out from right here. And you're just going to bring that in. These spikes are slightly smoother, so we're going to go ahead and make the tip of it just a little more rounded, like that. Going to do another one. Then do another one like this. And then you're going to start to bring these down more. is going to have one larger spike that goes over top part of the tail like this. And we're going to go ahead and erase that line that connects the tail to the spike here. Alright, let's go ahead and clean these up. Go. Just go ahead and add an extra spike over here after you erase part of this. Alright. Now after you have this part done, we're going to add the really larger spikes that come down the back of his shell by pulling these out, making a rounded base that comes out like that. Then we're going to do another one that comes out this way. And then another one that rounds out. And one more. One more. One tiny one like this. Alright. And then we're going to go ahead and separate these little shell pieces that come off right here that we just did by adding just a little bit of shading in between them and the arm. So you're going to add like little shading just around here. Darken these lines a little bit in between each shell piece. Add just a little bit of like squiggle shading below it. And for the back of Gamera's shell, we're going to go ahead and add just a little bit of like those little squiggle lines we did on the chest plate. Alright. And now after you have these plates done, we're going to do the sharp back plates that come off by making just like two and one more really sharp blade. Looks like a shark fin almost down below here. And we're just going to go shade that up real nice and good. Now we're just going to go and add on this side of Gamera two little shell plates on this side, and then add just a little bit of shading to them. And then if you want down below, you can add Gamera's shadow by just making a little line that comes around here, goes under the feet like this, not all the way but just enough, and then also goes under the tail. You just do this by making little squiggle lines. And then you have it. Gamera, Guardian of the Universe, the friend of all children, is complete.
If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to check out our other episodes and tune in next time as we draw Gamera's arch nemesis, the supersonic monster, Gauss.